Hello, dear viewers. Glad to be speaking to you once again. This time, we're talking about a far more recent part of Cookie Run Kingdom, the Beast Yeast finale, and the end of the first arc of Cookie Run Kingdom in its entirety. I honestly really loved it, though I have heard online that quite a few people didn't care for it. Well, less didn't care for it, more or so full-on hated it. They hated it to the point of selling their plushies, which ain't that bad on its own. But you add in the fact they're being sold for less than they were bought for, and that gets hilarious and insanity-inducing. Like, I do not care if you sell off your plushies since you don't care for the game anymore. I get selling them, but here's an example of the price change. It was $62 for a Shadow Milk Cookie plushie. Then it was resold for you got related listings for White Lily Cookies plush, which I'm just going to slap the original price on screen, then state the price of the resale out loud, $38. I ain't judging, but dang, people didn't like the ending. I have seen so many people state their opinions online, which, while they are their opinions, they aren't really based in reality most of the time, if you look past all of the yelling and such. Though, to talk about what I loved about the finale, all of White Lily Cookie's seeds. She'd finally had the chance to shine at the grand finale. While I do wish she was given more scenes, she shined bright in the scenes that she did have, having planned out how to face Dark Enchantress Cookie and put a stake through that witch's heart, before sending in the Avatar of Destiny to do the rest of the work. Her death was sad, but it did effectively have to happen, and I loved how Pure Vanilla Cookie was written here. Though her death is what most people point to when they complain about this, even getting to the point of saying to boycott Devsisters for this choice alone. A small trigger warning for mentions of suicide. I don't believe I am the best person to bring this up, so apologies if I say anything wrong. So, people say that White Lily Cookie was suicidal, saying that her story was about her learning to enjoy life, with those same people saying the ending was basically a slap to the face in this character arc. Now, I don't doubt this can make sense. I feel this wasn't what was intended. Every part of White Lily's story to me, it seems more like someone who didn't care if she lived or died. While there are holes in the story with the Witch's Banquet and the fight with Silent Salt Cookie, the majority of this is shown through the moments between these mentioned moments. She slowly learns to care about her life, with the fight with Silent Salt Cookie honestly being able to be included here, as I'd say, as the completion of this arc. Her sacrifice wasn't because she wished to be free in death. No, it was so Earthbred could be free. She couldn't have even lived after killing Dark Enchantress Cookie, mind you. It's alluded to time and time again that if Dark Enchantress Cookie died, that White Lily Cookie would die with her. While people getting this wrong doesn't make me mad, there is something else that does get me miffed. While this isn't an opinion I found to be popular, I have seen it and it has irritated me. There are claims that Pure Vanilla Cookie never cared for White Lily Cookie. Excuse me? Wow, that makes absolute sense. The person he risked getting in trouble in school with to see, the person he accompanied to combat monsters with, and the person he was closest with, the one that he was shown to have possibly romantic feelings for. Oh wait, what am I saying? Those were absolutely romantic feelings for. He loved her. Even if you don't ship the two, they canonically had feelings for one another, as shown in the ending scenes. He rushed to her, tears streaming down his face, his awakening even dropping just to get to her. There is no way that Pure Vanilla Cookie couldn't care about her. If it's somehow ever to reveal to be the case, that would be the worst writing decision ever possible for these two. Sorry if I got a bit carried away there, but the absolute stupidity I heard in those statements made me nearly plop a blood vessel. Now, let's switch to a far less serious topic, the interactions between the Ancients and the Beasts. I loved each of these interactions, as the Beasts pushed the Ancients to their limits once again, this time being saved by the Guardians. Each of them had interesting comments and dialogues. Shadow Milk Cookie showing more of his past to Pure Vanilla Cookie, with their soul jams even resonating afterwards. Also, the airship moment. Though, I am mainly going to speak of the Eternal Sugar Cookie scenes, as that's the one I find to show a lot of evidence for past claims of mine. Sorry if you wanted to hear about my opinions on Burning Spice, Mystic Flower Cookie, or even Silent Salt Cookies' appearances and interactions with their respective Ancients or the Ancients in general. Though, to get into it, it shows the truth of the relationship between Eternal Sugar Cookie and Hollyberry Cookie. I'd ranted about this on TikTok, but to explain one of the things I got mad about before even playing the finale, people got mad at Fire Spirit Cookie saving Hollyberry Cookie from this harlot. When to me, it seems quite clear that she used a bit of her passion to fuel the flames to burn that demon. Though, speaking more on this, Hollyberry is shown to explicitly be uncomfortable with Eternal Sugar Cookie's advances. And Eternal Sugar Cookie, of course, would not take no for an answer. You know, here's a little thought experiment for you. Imagine, if you will, for a moment, that Eternal Sugar Cookie was a man who wasn't feminine in the slightest. You might be wondering why I'm asking this of you, but it's simple. Insert this variant in every one of Eternal Sugar Cookie's scenes, specifically the ones with Hollyberry and her acting all crazy towards her. You see the issue? Yep, she is even more clearly someone who ignores consent. Like seriously, I know she would end up being burned at the stake instead of being shipped heavily with Hollyberry Cookie. Not even speaking from bias, by the way, since I don't exactly attack healthy ships. My favorite Hollyberry ship happens to be Pitaya Dragon Cookie and Hollyberry Cookie. Though, of course, no bias still. Although, let's move on from the shipping talks. I've already had my fill of hunting whales. On to the Cookies of Darkness. This might be the last time we see them, sadly. My heart will go on, Shacklewarehound Brute. Anyways, I love that the Cookies of Darkness actually reacted realistically towards the actions of Dark Enchantress. While we of course have the bootlicker, the others gave responses towards her acts. Mainly Red Velvet Cookie, who entirely left the group before the ending of Beast Yeast. The others stayed with Dark Enchantress despite her various sins against the laws of nature itself. A few of them still having doubts. Mainly Choco Warehound Brute and Licorice Cookie, though neither left and one got given a pomegranate gem. I'm gonna peel your head like a pomegranate, you boot. Anyways, then we got the 3 cookies introduced for the grand finale. These 3 were slightly bland at the start in my opinion, though they immediately gained character. They were made to do as Dark Enchantress Cookie ordered, mainly to stop the dragon to catch Gingerbrave, though they began to go off script. They tried to kill Gingerbrave and failed. After accidentally dodging child murder charges, they then proceeded to jump in while Espresso Cookie was committing an act of terrorism. They then took energy from Dark Enchantress' spell circle, then immediately dipped right before Espresso Cookie set off the C4. That's about it in terms of what I positively love that I felt didn't have as many flaws. Well, don't get me wrong in this next part, but these next parts have some flaws I can see that aren't just slander. Though the last one I feel will vary on what they end up doing with it. To start off with what I felt was the biggest failure, the ultimate cookie. It was so shiny, so strong, it was supposed to be a real showstopper. And yet, it didn't get that many scenes. The scenes it got were cool and all, don't get me wrong. Gingerbrave was straight up having a mental breakdown in that oven before having a full-on anime moment. But the ultimate cookie wasn't utilized effectively at all. While it does contribute to Shadow Milk's role as the next villain and it had that cliffhanger, we've been getting foreshadowing for it for quite a bit, to the point where I believe it might have been even foreshadowed around 2 years before Beast Yeast, if I'm remembering correctly. Hopefully something does get done with them, however. Though the next character I'm talking about has existed for a while, and she was done capital D dirty. Sugar Swan Cookie. While I ain't the most into Oven Break, from what I've heard, they broke her character, with her literally being God. One who doesn't interfere. Even if this is wrong, her inclusion still felt heavily forced, as she only came in to revive the cookies and to hold off Dark Enchantress for a bit. While I appreciate that it wasn't everyone dying, still wish they hadn't removed the stakes. Like, imagine if they still had a cookie or two die. Like, I'm not discounting White Lily's death or the Beast deaths, but we needed to see some common and rares and epics die too. Like, my nominees would be Tea Knight and or Financier Cookie. I reason that Tea Knight, a cookie, had fought in many a war, meaning he would likely both know the stakes and have seen many of his fellow knights fall over the years, defending the other cookies to his last breath, while Financier Cookie being only killed off to increase the stakes further, if they even die at all. And then either Sugar Swan Cookie, Millennial Tree Cookie, or any other cookies that could logically heal others, swoop in and heal the cookies that are injured rather than dead, due to Tea Knight's sacrifice. Though, for the final thing people don't care for, and I honestly myself find quite interesting, Shadow Milk Cookie became the big villain. To start off, no, he didn't kill the other beasts. He took the last of their power as they were on the edge of crumbling. So, in a way, he might actually save their lives. Plus, with how he was speaking, he might have actually cared for his fellow beasts to a degree. Then, for the other big gripe for Shadow Milk Cookie, the fact that he survived. While I can understand that, there are reasons for his survival. Mainly, his previous position as the Fount of Knowledge, and his current position as the Beast of Deceit. He would be the most likely to pick up on ways to avoid death, though I will admit it still feels like a bit of a Deus Ex Machina. Finally, him becoming the main villain isn't too out of nowhere if you look into it, but I still wish it would have been foreshadowed more in the finale's 3 chapters. He was the beast that was alluded to all the way back in Crispia Chapter 7, Forgotten Academy. He parallels Pure Vanilla Cookie, who was the leader of the Ancients. Though, no matter how foreshadowed, no matter how much evidence for or against him becoming the main villain making sense, we have to wait. Since he hasn't shown his cards, we don't even know how he'll fare against Timekeeper Cookie. He might, against all reason, beat Timekeeper, which will lean towards bad writing unless there's a good explanation. Or be forced to retreat away from Timekeeper to try and figure out how to challenge them effectively. But yeah, that was my thoughts on the grand finale of Beasties and the final arc of Cookie Run Kingdom. While I hadn't been a part of the journey at the start, as I joined during the Shadow Milk Cookie chapters, I can't wait to be part of the journey from here on out. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, or at least leave a comment. I love reading comments. Feel free to talk about your favorite parts of the finale, the part you hated most, or something you feel I got wrong here. But anyways, I've been Yuni is here, but now I'm Yuni is gone.
They not been paying attention to the story since this all started?